and beyond. We are setting the agenda for discussions and debates on Good Morning Plateau. Today's edition forms part of our special series examining the performance of the Plateau State government under the Mutfwang administration. That is its third anniversary in office, and as the administration enters the final year of its first tenure. Last week, we commenced a sector by sector scrutiny of the administration's record in office, creating a platform for citizens to better understand the policies, programs, achievements, challenges, and expectations across key sectors of governance. The objective is not merely to celebrate milestones, but also to encourage reflection, accountability, and inform public conversations about the direction of Plateau State. Today, our searchlight turns to one of the most important sectors in the society: education. Education remains the foundation upon which nations build human capital, drive economic growth, promote social mobility, and prepare future generations for leadership and innovation. Across the world, governments continue to invest heavily in education because the quality of a society tomorrow is often determined by the quality of education available today. Here in Plateau State, education has remained one of the priority sectors under the Mutfwang administration. Over the past 3 years, government reports indicate attention to classrooms, water supply in schools, furniture, scholarships expanded, tuition fees reduced, and efforts made to strengthen program accreditation and improve access to education. However, beyond infrastructure statistics, many citizens continue to ask broader questions. Have these interventions translated into better learning outcomes? Are rural communities and urban communities benefiting equally? What progress has been made in addressing challenges affecting teachers and educational institutions? And what should Plateau citizens expect from the education sector during the final year of the Mutfwang administration? As part of ongoing assessment of government and development in Plateau State. Today, we examine 3 years of educational reforms in Plateau State, achievements, challenges, and the road ahead. To help us unpack these issues, we're joined in the studio this morning by the Honorable Commissioner of Education, Plateau State, Kacholom Gang. You are welcome to Good Morning Plateau this morning.
Thank you. Good morning, listeners.
All right, we begin here. How would you assess the overall state of education in Plateau State today compared to what the administration of Governor Caleb Mutfwang met on ground?
When we came into office in 2023 with Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, the executive governor of Plateau State, as the pilot of the agenda in Plateau State, we met a lot of devastating things, especially as it concerns education. We took a tour of our educational institutions, both at the basic, secondary, and tertiary levels, and the situation was really pathetic. And I will say that in these 3 years, what we saw was so enormous at the beginning, and we were even wondering where to start from. But we told ourselves, let's start from somewhere and see what we can do year after year. And I want to proudly say that through the interventions of the executive governor, Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, we have been able to make an impact at each level of education. Impact that can be seen, impact that can be felt, and we believe that we have just scratched the surface. When it comes to education, there is a lot that needs to be done, but we are trying our best and will continue to try our best, and we have made a lot of impact. And We are not resting on our oars. We are still doing our best to see what more we can do in this final year of the administration. I believe that by the end of the first 4 years of Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, people will say indeed they can see that the educational system in Plateau State has changed drastically.
Okay, let's still stay there for a while. Education is often described as an investment rather than an expenditure. What vision has guided the administration's intervention in the sector over the years? What has been the vision?
I think the main vision has been to raise the standard of education in Plateau State. If you will recall vividly, especially those of us that are 50 and above, Plateau State was one of the states that was highly rated in terms of education. In fact, people exported their children to Plateau State to study. But when we came into office, that was not the story. In fact, Plateau State has gone so low in the standard of education that our own students preferred to go to other states, especially at the higher level, to study. And His Excellency Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang said he's not going to take that. He wants to bring back the glory of the Plateau as it relates to standard of education. He wanted to, by the time he finished his first tenure, Plateau State will become a place where people come, bring their children to study, just as it was before. And to be able to achieve that, he has done everything possible, from the basic, secondary, to the tertiary institutions, to ensure that our students come back and students from other states also come to Plateau State to study. And we can see it happening. You know, when we first came to office, let me start from the tertiary level. Most of our schools were empty. The number of students were nothing to write home about. And we looked inward to find out what the challenges were. And we found that, like the Bauchi State University, the university in Gombe, Nasarawa State University, had more Plateau State students than even their indigenes. And we said, no, it cannot be. We were the ones exporting education. Why will our children now be running from home? So we went to the root to find out what was the problem. And we found out that, one, the teachers in our institutions were not there. Secondly, because the teachers were not being paid regularly and were always on strike, the students who came to our institutions spent longer years in the school. For a 3-year program, a student may end up spending 6 years. And when they go to other institutions in other states, they will spend their 3 years and come back. And so they thought, we cannot be wasting our time in Plateau State. The teachers are not there. The facilities are not there. And we go to other states and we finish on time. So we decided as a state, with the support of His Excellency, that we must turn things around. Improve the quality of teachers we have in our institutions. Improve the facilities. You know, make the fees to be comparable, because they also complain, because definitely if the students are not many, the fees will be high, because the schools must run their activities and they need the fees to run their activities. So the fees were exorbitantly high. So His Excellency looked deeply into this. And I will say that in the past 3 years, we have changed the infrastructure in our higher institutions. Our courses at that time were not accredited. Students will graduate, they cannot go for NYSC because the programs in most of these institutions were not accredited. But I will tell you today that within the last 3 years, we have accredited all the programs in the university, Bokos, all the programs in the College of Education, Gindri, all the programs in the polytechnics, and other programs in the College of agriculture, and most of the programs in the colleges of health technology. So our students graduate, they get their certificates, they can go for NYSC, and they can use their certificates just like any other student from other institutions. Apart from that, we have even improved on the number of courses that are being offered across these schools. It will be interesting to know that we have received approval for College of Education to offer degree programs in 19 subjects. And we are hoping that very soon our College of Education will be converted into a University of Education. Our university in Bokos now offers medicine, pharmacy, and other health-related programs. Law has been introduced. And so we are not only expanding programs, we are improving on those programs that were on offer before. Go and check the agriculture program of our state university in Bokos. It's so elaborate with farms and tractors for students to learn from. One other thing we have done as it relates to higher institutions is that we have introduced entrepreneurship programs in line with the demand of the Federal Ministry of Education. We are not only talking of academic education, we are talking of skill acquisition. We want our graduates to graduate not only with an academic certificate, but with a skill-related certificate, so that while they are waiting for whatever job they are looking for, they have a trade that they can use to keep life going. So entrepreneurship has been introduced in most of our schools. That is what we have done. And we are still doing more to ensure that our students from our higher institutions compete not only nationally, but internationally with other students.
Okay, it's exciting to hear you passionately speak about the vision of the Mutfwang administration in the education sector. But now let's be specific. We start from here. The Mutfwang Legacy Scholarship Scheme. What has the Mutfwang administration done differently in the area of provision of scholarships to students?
What I will say is that when Mutfwang came into office as the executive governor of Plateau State, what we met on ground is a local scholarship for students in higher institutions that was 5,000 per annum. And it had been there for over 20 years, to the extent that the students were not even interested in the scholarship. Because how much will I spend, let's say from Zaria, for instance, to come and collect my scholarship in the state? It's more than 5,000. So the students lost interest in the scholarship. As a result, we sent a proposal to His Excellency to improve the scholarship, and we increased the scholarship by 300%. And His Excellency approved. So since 2023, we have been giving scholarship to our local students with an increase of over 300%
increase.
And we find that the demand for scholarship is on the increase every year. We have also supported our students in the law school. You know, the law school fees can be so high. Since Barrister Caleb Mutfwang came into office, we have paid fees for students that need to go to law school so that they can qualify as lawyers in Nigeria. That support has been going on since 2023 till date. And the students are very, very happy till date. And the students are very, very appreciative. Apart from that, let's go internationally. When we came to office, we found a ban on overseas scholarship, which has been suspended for so many years. The ban is not yet lifted, but despite that, His Excellency has continued to assist students that have scholarship for rare, very rare and specialized courses that are beneficial to Plateau State. We have courses in aviation, courses in medical related programs, and so on. And we propose in 2024 and early 2025 for His Excellency, because we looked at the medical sector and discovered that that is the area we have the greatest challenge. Even though the few that are trained don't last, we are having a lot of challenges. Let me give an example with this, our School of Nursing VOM. We train nurses. Within one semester, half are gone. They have left abroad to go and work. They have left Nigeria completely. So we need to be replacing teachers on a constant basis. So we thought about it and we brought a proposal to Our Excellency that our medical sector is suffering. There are many areas that we don't have a single staff. Areas like physiotherapy, areas like dentistry, areas like cardiology, and so on. And we thought about it and we brought a proposal to him that we should mass train people in the medical sector and give them a bond so that when they come back, they can work for the state for a number of years while we continue to develop others, so that we cannot continue to have shortages in our medical sector. His Excellency gave an approval following a scholarship that the Chancellor of Sanskaram University in India gave to Plateau State students, that if we can sponsor about 200 indigenes from Plateau State, he was going to reduce the fees for the state to a certain amount. We picked on that scholarship and His Excellency saw the benefit of that scheme and approved. And we have 190 students now. We intended to send 200, but we have 190 because some did not get visas. A few did not get visas because they were either underaged or overaged, because there's an age limit that was given to us. So we ended up sending 190 students who are now in India. They reported in January this year, and I'm glad to say that they are doing very, very well. We have continued to receive reports from the school. The students are doing well, both academically and in their behavior. You know, behavior matters. So they are doing very well in their academics and in their behavior. And we are proud of those students.
I want to assume that they are doing well because the process that led to them having access to the scholarship was fair and the best were carried rather than. So can we know how was the process that led to?
The process was thorough, and honestly, let me appreciate His Excellency that we advertised for the scholarship and we did tests. We got a consultant who organized and conducted an aptitude test for all those that were interested. And when we started the admission process, I personally went to His Excellency and I pleaded that, sir, if we want this process to benefit the state, let's put merit first. And I was so, because you know, in political era, people that are in positions, yes, there was a lot of interest. People wanted their choice here and there. So I went to His Excellency. I said, look, if we want the best out of this situation, let's take at least 20% on merit. His Excellency looked at me and said, what are you talking about? Let's take 40% on merit. Let's take 40% on merit. The remaining 60% should be shared across the state, but they must also be those that have passed the aptitude test.
Okay.
So we had a cutoff mark of 65%. For those that scored 70% and above, in fact, it was even 80% and above, When we cut off the 40% merit, we found out that it is both that have scored above 70. So we pick the first 40% on merit.
Yeah.
And you will be surprised to know that most of those that came on merit were children. She doesn't know anybody. I didn't even vote for Mutwa. But my child is among the children. I am a widow. So I think we took the best of the best to India for this scholarship. And that's why they are making us proud and they are doing well.
With respect to diversity and merit. So thank you so much for that clarification. Let's navigate to infrastructural development. Give us a rundown of the high points of the Mutfwang administration as far as infrastructural development is concerned.
Not only at the tertiary level, but also at the basic and secondary level. Through SUBEP, which is an agency of education, I think we have renovated over 500 schools. And SUBEP and Agile have constructed over almost 400 new classrooms in our secondary and primary schools. When we come to the tertiary, there is an auditorium being constructed for the state. There is an anatomy laboratory because the medical university has been opened. An anatomy laboratory is being constructed by the state government. There are many other structures that are being constructed. The same with the Polytechnic. If you go to the Polytechnic, you will see the facelift, the structures that are going on for new programs that are being introduced, and the renovation and upgrading of the programs that have existed before. Because National Board for Technical Education, when they come for verification or for accreditation, they must check the quality and standard of infrastructure in this institution. I will say that we have done a lot, but we still have a lot to do when it comes to infrastructure because it is capital intensive. In fact, I remember I had a discussion with His Excellency in 2025, telling him of some of the dilapidated nature of structures in our tertiary institutions. He told me that if I have the resources, that is one of the first place that I will put the funds that I have. He had a special arrangement to be able to uplift other infrastructure in our various institutions. But unfortunately, I don't know what to do, but we'll continue to try our best. Go to each of our tertiary institutions. You will see new structures coming up. From as far as Kurgui, hostels are being renovated. If you go to Garkawa, we have solar farms because most of these institutions are not on the national grid. But we find now that solar farms have been put in place in Gindri, in Garkawa, in Kurgui,
Shalom Gang, that is in celebration of Governor Caleb Mutfwang's third anniversary in office and the last lap into the end of his first tenure in office. And at the moment, our studio line 081258860048. You can call us and have a say on the conversation. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Who is on the line? You're calling from Yenshanu. Okay, let's have your take.
Thank you. Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
All right.
I want to ask our mom what are you talking about here? Because community here in countries to government parents are countries.
All right.
Our mom, our father, our governor. This is what we talked about. I wish you want to be safe.
Thank you very much. He's saying in Rico's community there is no government primary and secondary school, and he wants the state government to do something about that. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you, sir?
Wonderfully well.
This is Waziri from Watatan Kankua, Katarako,
Waziri, thank you so much for calling us all the way from Kadarko. Let's have your take.
My take on this is that I'm talking about the conference of primary school in our area and the work that His Excellency, the Executive Governor, is doing on the Plateau as clear our salary and there are a lot of achievements.
He is basically appreciating the state government for promptly taking care of their welfare issues, particularly clearing of salaries. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. You said Yusuf from Gangari?
Yes.
Okay.
I really want to appreciate and compliment our Honorable Commissioner for Education. You are doing very well. And I will give you Twitter for the work you have just mentioned. Thank you much for this. Please, ma, I just want to ask whether you have forgotten your retirees and pensioners, especially in the north. Yesterday, people had that, but the non-local government, most, especially, and I have chance to contact most of the beneficiaries. One of them told me that they give any. So, you need to do something about it because the families of the pensioners and the families are going through a lot now. Please do something. May God help you and more grace to you and the government to address it because we have more help in our government that is during his time that he went to office. Most of the pensioners and the beneficiaries have applauded that.
Thank you so much, Yusuf, calling from Gangari. The issue of retirees and pensioners in Just North local government area. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yes, this is Isaac. It's the radio speaker from Justice.
Good morning, Isaac Itse.
Yes, good morning, the Honorable Commissioner. Who have commended the government. Indeed, the government has done much in the issue of education sector, but I believe more needs to be done. I want to talk on the issue of recruitment of teachers. I think our secondary schools across Plateau State need more teachers, particularly those secondary schools that are in the rural areas. It is a thing of concern. You find out that you visit some secondary schools. There have been PTA teachers that have been serving for almost over one. I think something should be done about that. Even if there is a recruitment, sometimes those PTA teachers are not absorbed. So it's a thing of concern. And then the issue of deployment of staff you see that the attention is, I mean, secondary schools in the urban cities